This is something else Van Gogh says. To sacrifice all personal desires, to realize great things, to obtain nobleness of mind, to surpass the vulgarity in which the existence of nearly all individuals is spent. You see, he wanted to uplift himself and everyone around him through art. He had a vision of art that was beyond the normal pale of people who are artists who just did it for money, or they had these creative ideas, they would do them, but they were in the money, in the business of art. He was not in the business of art. He gave all his paintings to his brother. He hoped his brother could sell them so his brother could get back some of the money he had been giving him, but he wasn't painting this in order to be a calm art, in order to make money. Van Gogh suffered as Jesus suffered. Jesus suffered on the cross. That's why I used the cross. Van Gogh suffered. Jesus died on the cross. Van Gogh died. That's why I used the cross. And later, Jesus was resurrected. Later, Van Gogh was resurrected. That means his art eventually got to that orbit that I talked about, in which he became one of the great artists of all time. To me, he's the greatest of all time, period. But, you know, that's because he strikes such a note in me. So that gives you some idea what I'm talking about here now. I talk about religious art being a religion, who the person is that I can point to and say, this is the true artist. You see, I became aficionado before I became an artist. I didn't know anything about art, as I told you. So I had to learn, and I learned from here. I read this book. And that kind of artist, something inside of me that's connected with that dedication. Then also I understood the subject. Remember I told you have to understand, aficionado have to know the artist and the subject. I knew the subject. I was raised on a ranch. We had orchards, we had plowed fields, we had hay stacks, we had vineyards, we had it all. And as a kid, I ran through those orchards, and I knew them, and I understood them, and I saw things in the orchards when I was a kid that when I saw his paintings, I knew what he was doing, and it struck me. That's why it's important for an aficionado to know the subject, to know what it is. I knew what he was doing when he painted those orchards and so on, the plowed fields. I had seen it as a child, and I knew it. And I felt deeply about it. And when I saw the paintings, I connected. That made me an aficionado. But for me, that wasn't enough. Aficionado's fine. Most people can't make the next step, but I made the next step, which was difficult. I quit my job, dedicate my life to art, regardless of what it was costing me, and I did not do it for money. I did it because I wanted to be like Van Gogh, an artist who dedicated his life to something beyond himself, something bigger than himself. So that's what I'm here for. We're going to talk about this as the weeks go on. We're going to talk what it takes to be this, to be like this, what it means to society, what it means to you, what it means to me. And we'll find out through this book and through the book of art. It'll help guide us, and we'll talk, and we'll all be the better for it. Believe me. Because I know, I did not know what art is before I read this book. And I've dedicated the last 44 years of my life to art. So I know what I'm talking about. So, that's it for this week. Go to my website, send me an email. Come back next week.